morning here. It is 6:30. It is the dog days of summer, but we have 3 board members here. I'm Jason Combs, Vice President. Linda is out of town right now. I've got Jess here with me and Greg, and everyone else is with us in spirit. We have a few interesting things on the agenda tonight. We're going to hear from the city about stormwater fees, and we have some of the usual suspects talking about code compliance. We've got some new restaurants, and so let's jump right into it. Do we have anyone here that's going to speak about the event at the library with the fabulous Equinox Orchestra? Or we just prompting that?
We're just letting them know.
Just letting them know, okay. So on September 4th, at 7 p.m., the fabulous Equinox Orchestra and food trucks will be at the Bull Street Library. I'm sure you'll see more about that on the chat page and whatnot, but just go ahead and put it in your mind. So that's going to be September. And first up, we'll go ahead and get to code compliance with Gary Bronstein and Officer King. If y'all would stand right about here, please. Do we have a microphone?
We got 2.
Hello. Good evening. My name is Gary Bronstein. I'm code compliance supervisor for the Thomas Square side of the neighborhood. This is Officer King, who also works at the Thomas Square. Officer Victoria Brown, who is on the metropolitan side, she's on the west side, officer, was off today, so she couldn't make it. So I'm here instead. I know for the metropolitan side of the neighborhood, we have 63 open cases currently, and for the Thomas Square side, we have 37 cases actively being worked. And that is really all I have. If you guys have any questions for us, the one thing I have, also we have a survey that for the GPS that we're doing for the city for basically quality of life. We have a little survey that code compliance created. It's just 1-page survey. If you guys could fill it out or just use a QRC code, awesome.
The QR code is back on that table.
And yeah, we also have a QR code. We'll pass out one. Or you can fill it out by hand and turn it into us. And it's really easy to do. It's 1 page, it takes 2 minutes. And we would appreciate it. It's just basic quality of life concerns and what are your major concerns in the neighborhood, such as like legal dumping, things like that. Just a simple survey that we're doing. Do you have any questions for code compliance? Yes, ma'am.
When something's been turned into 311, and you all are fantastic at immediate response. So we know you got it, we know that it's being addressed. And then, one that I turned in about a month ago is then been radio silent. And my fear is that every once in a while when that happens, it's closed, and yet nothing ever got done. So, it's rare that that happens, but how do I address that before it happens?
So when you reach out to 311, it just speaks, basically it sends to our system where we use CitizenServe, and basically it creates a case in CitizenServe, and then we have basically 72 hours to address it. We usually go out there, we address it. So one of the issues is that 311 doesn't communicate with CitizenServe very well. We go in there and we put in that it's in the process or it's closed, but it doesn't exactly say why. You can always reach out to code compliance and ask them specifically.
Okay.
You can also, a lot of times if we already have a previous case, we'll close it as a duplicate. And so a lot of times that's what happens is we close it because we go out there, we see it, we're like, oh, we already have a case on this. It's a duplicate. So we close it in our system, or we close it in the 311 system, and then but it doesn't explain why sometimes. So reach out to us, we can let you know.
All right, thank you.
Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
Is there a way to see online, like open cases that are, code compliance cases you're investigating, or no?
Not really. Some of those, we have a list of open cases, and we do provide it to the board, the president usually. If you ask them, they can probably share it with you. Some of the specifics in those cases, it is private. We don't want to release the specifics. But yes, a list of the open cases we do have at the projects.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you, and if you do have any questions, members, presidents have it, all about you have it. If not, I'll leave some cards on the table as well. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we have a word from Shaughnessy. Yeah, come on up. Cargyle.
Sure.
Okay. With the front porch.
With the front porch, yeah. I'm not Italian or anything, but I've used my hands.
Good to say, which front porch?
Yes, I'm gonna say, is anyone familiar with the front porch?
Ooh, yeah.
You? Okay. Been to a show recently?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not me. We're another front porch that's down on Abercorn Street. We work with families and children. So there's a few front porches around Savannah. There's the Comedy, used to be a coffee shop in Fuller, there's The Porch is at a church nearby, but the front porch on Abercorn, just a few blocks from here inside Thomas Square, is a youth assessment center. So we help families get connected to resources for their kids. So if you have kids in your own life, or you work with children, you go to church with someone, anyone in Chatham County between the ages of 5 to 17, our goal is to try to connect with them to see what that family may need to help that child thrive. Could be extra help in school with after-school tutoring, or they're having difficulty navigating some part of the school system. We have a couple of liaisons at the front porch who work for the school system that can help create a plan to take care of that. If it's mental health therapy that maybe a child needs, or a family's interested in looking into that, but they're not sure how to get it set up, and who's on their insurance, who has a waiting list, we kind of help navigate some of that for them. Mentoring programs. It just kind of depends on what that child might need, where there might be gaps in their life currently. We've had some families come in because the child's falling behind in school. The family believes they might have ADHD or maybe even autism, but they're having trouble accessing the testing mechanism. And so we kind of have that network we can connect with, so we can help make those connections easier. That's our main thing, help families get connected to resources. Totally free program, it's underneath Chatham County. And yeah, just a resource that is for anybody and everybody who has children. Has anybody ever heard of that front porch? Oh, okay, all right, so good deal.
We did have a front porch speaker previously, maybe a year or 2 years ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. I think it was me.
Was it you?
So,
Not sure. Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's okay. So if someone heard about it before, has anyone ever tried to access those services or anything? Okay, well we would love for you to. There's brochures on the back, and I'll put a few more. It has a QR code in the middle where someone can make their own referral for themselves to bring their child in, or someone can make a referral on behalf of another person and tell them, yeah, I made a referral for you. We reach out, set up a time for them to come to the office, just right over here, less than a mile away, or we'll go to their home if that's more convenient for them. It takes about an hour to kind of sit down and talk to the child, talk to the parent, figure out how things are going, and then try to create a plan. And then we'll do 90 days of like case management alongside. So very helpful resource too if you know grandparents who are back to raising kids, single parents doing that, could be helpful to them. We'll do other things too to help support families, like we meet with dads once a month, we have like a dad's brunch and kind of resource sharing, commiserating group that meets together, kind of a support group. We do one for grandparents who are raising kids, other youth programs from time to time also. We have a clothing closet, a school uniform closet.
Did you take donations?
Yes, especially for school uniforms. If you have like gently used or new school uniforms, always taking those. Children's clothing for sure also. That's a resource we try to have for the community. We have like food bags and hygiene packs that we share with people sometimes too. So there's a few things that happen over there.
There are a lot of good groups in Savannah doing this sort of thing or similar. And I wonder if there's some number, let's say somebody just moves here and they've got a problem. Is there some central number where it could be called and they'll say, well, these churches are doing that sort of thing, your group's doing this, and get a big picture of all the help that's out there so that it's not missed or duplicated.
Yeah. 211 is probably the best.
211.
basic service.
I'm sorry, I don't know what 211 is.
So yeah, so similar to like the 311 you referenced earlier.
Yeah.
But 211 is specifically for like services. So someone could call 211 and say, I need help paying a light bill. And they would say, here's all the ones. Or it could be like, I'm looking for mentoring for my son. Or
So maybe that exists.
so 211 has that.
Okay.
And then I think we're the top resource for families if they're trying to get connected to things for their kids in particular. So I would call us too. But yeah, 211's a really good community resource there. Any other questions or thoughts?
Good info. Thank you.
I'm going to leave some brochures back
All right.
there.
Okay, next we have our first restaurant. Madeline Ott. Where's Madeline? Late Air? Okay. Maybe not. Maybe they got their permits or whatever. But anyways, it was on. I have here on the agenda Madeline Ott, current owner of Late Air. They are opening a new pizza restaurant called Specials at 2520 DeSoto Avenue, which is the former upholstery building on Bull Street that was recently renovated. So, okay. Well, maybe they'll be back another time. So next we move on to Marisol. Come on up. I'll let you tell us all about it. Come stand right here so we get to capture you.
Absolutely.
All right.
So, good evening, everyone. My name is Mario,
My name is Marisol.
and we are about to open Maisal. I want to introduce you to what the idea of Maisal is. Maisal will be a Colombian cafe. It will be inspired of mostly Marisol roots. She's from Colombia. I'm from Mexico, but Colombia adopted me. So we're gonna be focusing on gluten-free items. All our menu will be naturally gluten-free, and also we're gonna be focusing on non-seed oils and to bring great Colombian coffee to all the community. So we are seeking to offer breakfast and lunch service. Our menu will have a variety of items such as gluten-free. We're gonna have some vegan plates. We're gonna have alternative meals for people that are seeking for other choices. But the coffee always will be like the main character of Maisal. And then if you're wondering for dinner service, we are not having dinner service, but we will be focusing on like as a venue. So people can rent the space for any kind of social activity, any kind of event they want to do, perform it in there, like from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. We're going to be focusing to rent that area as a venue. Like we're going to be located in Habersham Street and 37. It's a white building with a really nice patio. So we are also trying to bring that atmosphere, like in that patio, like for people to gather, all the community, and also if you want to make your special event, your private event.
So people know you're in the point of the new building that's right there where 37th and the railroad cross.
That's correct.
Right, okay.
That's correct.
Right there.
Let me see if I'm missing anything from the agenda. So our hours of operation, as I previously mentioned, it will be 7:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. So we're gonna take breakfast and lunch as a cafe, and then 3 to 9 p.m. it could be rented for any kind of social event as a venue. Also, you might be wondering about parking. We're gonna be using street parking as our main source of parking. We're gonna make sure that people respect all the parking areas and non-designated parking areas. So yeah, parking will be street parking. Let me see what else. Regarding alcohol license, our main focus as of now will be to obtain the alcohol license for the venue. So breakfast and lunch won't have any alcohol drinks. So just coffee, but coffee will be enough, you will see. So yeah, like we're gonna be acquiring the alcohol license for the venue. Also, you know, as we were talking with other people in here, our expectations to open, hopefully if everything and construction goes well, we are expecting and permits, and all that, all those final details. We are planning to open on September, trying to do a soft opening to see how things goes, and then from there do the grand opening afterwards. But also, if you want to just get a sneak peek, you can just go over there. We're going to be focusing to bring Colombian culture into that building. We are also trying to focus on pure Colombian menu, pure Colombian coffee, and the environment. You will see we're working on something really nice that when you get in there, you can go to a Colombian restaurant just as close as just walking distance here in downtown. And also we are trying to foster all the neighborhood. We are planning to offer discounts for all the SCAP community, hospitality around, just trying to foster community. We have been here in Savannah for almost 5 years. We got in love with the city, so we really would like to make our new place like to a place that people can gather, can enjoy, and can have really spend a good time.
So in 4 years, maybe you'll have some World Cup watch parties?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, absolutely. I'm missing it already. But yeah, I don't know if any of you got any questions in the Bison.
What do you know about the new place going into Nairobi is? I saw a sign there. That's going to be your neighbor.
In front of us?
To the side. Do you remember where the breakfast place used to be? To the side? There's some new business coming in there.
It's across the street, right?
Yeah, across the street. Yeah.
I think
It's an Italian restaurant.
Yeah, it will be an
Yeah,
Italian
okay. Just curious if you knew, because I saw the sign there. All right.
Yeah.
yeah, that's the only thing. I mean, she knew it. She just mentioned to me that it would be
Right.
an Italian
Yeah.
restaurant, but we don't know that much. And also, if you want to get a sneak peek of our products, you can see us in the farmers market.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We have been in the farmers market for almost 1.5 years. So we got some of the products that we're gonna offer, of course, in the restaurant. So if you wanna stop by, we always offer samples. So please stop by, say hi. We will be happy to explain a little bit about those products that we make.
Okay. Well, keep us updated, and when you have dates for both the soft and the grand opening, let us know when we can put them on the chat page online
Oh,
and make sure
absolutely.
everyone in the community knows.
Yeah.
All
Absolutely.
right, was there any questions? All good? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Now, we have a briefing on the new stormwater fee. Come on up. Are you Anthony or are you Zach? And Zach left you, huh? Okay.
He had a family emergency and it's too.
Well,
So
please introduce yourself and let them know what we're talking about.
How you doing? Good evening. Anthony Caston. I am the Water Resources Administrator for the City of Savannah. So we're in charge of water, sewer, and stormwater. Tonight I'm talking to you about stormwater. About actually our new stormwater utility fee that's going to be effective on September 1st. Now, folks always ask me why we start the fee, right? So starting back, I mean, and for folks that have been in this community for a long time, they understand that drainage is an issue, flooding is an issue in Savannah, especially in the downtown area, parts of the east and the west side more specifically. But, you know, part of the city's growth and change that we've done over the last few years was putting together a strategic plan. So part of that was engaging with the community, doing surveys, asking what folks really were concerned about the most. And surprising to me, I thought, you know, it's usually always public safety, police and fire. But the top thing that people were actually concerned about in the city that affected them the most was drainage. So with that, and then we also did a SPLOST survey for the most recent SPLOST that was approved. The number one projects that folks wanted to see were drainage projects. So, you know, that's when we thought, you know what, maybe we need to bring this idea back up again of a stormwater utility. And so we looked at it. We got a focus group together from neighborhood residents, and so we drafted up a proposal. And with those residents, with that, all the input, we did community meetings in every district. We decided to go with a tier structure. Most places, a lot of places you'll see have a flat fee, especially the older stormwater utilities across the state or across the country, across the state. But we decided to go with a tier program because one of our biggest goals is equity for our residents. So, you know, a lot of our folks remember felt like somebody with a, 1,500 or 1,400 square foot impervious surface area property shouldn't pay the same as somebody with a 8,000 square foot property. So we took that into account. So we pushed this proposal to council after we did all the community engagement pieces. They passed it on September 1st, on January 22nd of this year. And so our effective date for this is September 1st. So now we've been pushing out a lot of information, through the news, through our community meetings. So I'm sure some of you didn't attend those. But now our goal is up until September, or even past September really, is to get out and engage now with more of the neighborhood associations. So one of the great things about our stormwater utility is there's eligibility for credits. So you can get up to 50% off on your stormwater utility fee by doing small things like getting a rain barrel, which the city actually provides those for free. So you can actually get one or two from us. There's you can do impervious pavers, or you can plant trees. Any of those things make you eligible to get credits on the stormwater utility fee for your residential properties, and also for the commercial properties as well. So going back to the equity piece, one of the great things about why we did this was because everybody would have to pay this fee. So as most of you, I'm sure you know, and if you ever watch council, our mayor said, if we're going to raise revenue for stormwater, there's only really two ways to do it, right? There's either fees or taxes. And if we did it through taxes, of course, that would go to the taxpayers, but almost 20% of our properties in Savannah are tax exempt. So that is a large handful of properties that don't pay for the general fund services. However, if you do it as a fee, just like water and sewer, then of course everybody has to pay for that. So that was one of the reasons why we pushed that recommendation to council, and then they ultimately approved. So if we've created a website. It's a city event, or you go to our city website, you can stormwater utility. We have a whole website with a timeline of everything we've done, a lot of our presentations that we presented, and there's also some videos on there, some how-tos, a lot of great information. So other than that, I think that's all I got. Does anybody have any questions?
So where will the fee be seen?
Yes, thank you. So the fee will be seen on your utility bill. So of course here in Savannah we have a bi-monthly utility bill. Trying to in the future get that down to a monthly utility bill. But right now we're bi-monthly. For most households, most residential properties, 70% of residential properties will be in tier 2, which is a $4.75 a month, $4.75 a month. Yes, ma'am.
Two things, will SCAD and churches
They
and
will.
other non-exempt, they will have to.
It's just like water and sewer. They all pay water and sewer. They will also pay some water.
That's a big difference, good for you.
Well, that's one of the reasons why we push that option instead of trying to raise it through taxes.
The other thing is, I had a friend who just paid a large area at the business he has, and he said it's so expensive to put the impervious, not impervious, blocks in.
Yes.
That he went ahead and just did the blacktop,
Yes.
but this was before anybody knew about this exemption.
That is correct. But the great thing about it, there are other credits that he can get. You can plant trees. He can, if he finds out he doesn't need all of that pavement, you can cut some of it off and go back to grass. There's several things. And we have a whole credit manual that's on our website.
Yeah.
So it's all the details and all the credits that you need and how to get those. And we're here to help. Whatever we can do to get, we want everybody to get the credits.
Where do you see the credits?
On our website, it's you go to SavannahGA.gov, that's our city website, and then / stormwater utility. Or you just go on the website and put in the search bar stormwater utility.
You put in what?
Stormwater utility.
Okay.
Yep. It's the first thing that pops up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Where do you go for the?
Yeah, so that's on that website too. There's a credit manual and there's a credit application section right after that. So we just moved the credit application and the credit manual to the top of the website. So as soon as you go on our website, it's right at the top, the manual, and then the application. There's a QR code on that flyer too, as well, that'll get you there. It's got the website information. It's got our customer service line down there if you want to if anybody ever wants to call that and get actual help from us, we're always available. Myself, my team, we're all available to help folks with whatever they need on that.
If you didn't get one of these, it's on that back page.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the process to get a rain barrel?
Oh, sweet. So they got Laura Walker, who I don't know if any of you, I'm sure she's presented at this meeting before in the past. She's our environmental coordinator. The way you go on there is she's actually created a whole website. It's called waterconnectsusall.com. I believe that's on the flyer too as well. And you just fill out a voucher, and then once you get that voucher filled out, we have them at local hardware supplies, and you can just pick them up from one of them. Yeah. And if you ask super nicely, Laura will give you two. So if you need to. So, and we've got we've ordered a horde of those things in anticipation of the stormwater utility. So our hope is that, everybody completes that, so we have to order more. Because again, it's our goal to make the credit process as easy as possible. Even with the even with the rain barrels, all you really have to do once you install it, you just have to take a picture to show that you installed it, attach that to your application, and you're good to go. So, and again, with the application, it's online. You can do it digital, but we also have it where you can email it in, or you can also do a physical copy and mail it in, or bring it in if you want to. So, however you want to do it.
If we already have a rain barrel, we just use that.
Yep. You would just take a picture of it, put it on the attach that to your application, submit that, and you're good to go.
Wow.
Yes.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of a two-parter. So, how do you find out what particularly is being done in the area where your house is, and then also what the timeline is for when your area would get addressed?
And you're talking about with the stormwater projects?
Correct.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And that's actually why Zach would have been great for here. Zach is our stormwater director. He's the engineer over all of our stormwater projects. But we actually are working right now on creating a dashboard for residents and water resources. The whole city is actually doing a capital project dashboard, but we're trying to lead the way on that, to where anybody in any neighborhood can go and find out what projects are actually have been completed, are in progress, and then will also be future projects. But for the time being, if you just want to reach out to us, I can leave some of my cards here. You can reach out to me directly. I'll get back with you, and we can talk about the projects in your area. I talked to Zach before this. He said in the Thomas Square area, some of just the projects that they've done here recently are on 38th and Old Jefferson. He said they've done some what they call CIPP lining, it's cured in place lining. So it's a cheaper alternative to actually digging up the road and digging up the pipe. They actually line the pipe and it hardens in place, so you get more life out of it. Now, ultimately, with all of our pipes that's been all of our stormwater infrastructure, we want to move to what they call 100-year storm conveyance. So, these huge storms, it's able to convey those easily without any flood. So we're working our way towards that, but CIPP lining are things that kind of get us in between, so we can get the funding to a level where we can actually make those replacements in those pipes. But yeah, right now, anything you want to know that's in your area, you can just reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to share those things with you. Yeah. And if you have any problems, like you mentioned 311 earlier, you put in 311, it comes to us. We have a similar system to what they have. It comes to us. Our goal is, and I think it was you that mentioned earlier that sometimes you put one in and then you don't hear anything. So you're 100% correct. It's not just that's the whole city, but I see it in water resources too. So one of the things that we're focused on is creating a customer response unit that actually follows up with residents on their issues until they're fully resolved. So they close the loop on that, because that's our goal is to make sure that you're fully informed and aware of what's going on. Right? And I tell my team, even if it's something that's going to take 6 months to finish, at least give people a date to look forward to, and then follow up with them regularly. Just let them know that it's on the schedule, or it's going to be delayed or something like that. So I just want to let you know we are working on that in water resources.
You said September 1st, or I read September 1st implementation.
Yes.
How will we know then what tier we're in on September 1st?
Yeah, you can actually reach out to us on the email in there, and we can tell you, you give us your address.
You know it now, right?
Yeah, oh yes,
Okay,
we know.
all right,
Yeah,
thank you.
you can reach out to us when it's available. But like I said, for residential properties, unless you have commercial property, we can get you that too. We're still working out. There's like a few weird ones that there's always a few weird ones at the end, but for 95%, 98% of the property, we already have the they calculate it. But for residential, you just give us a call or you can email me, and we'll put your address in, and we'll let you know what it is. But again, like I said, 70%, actually greater than 70%, because those folks in 1 and 2 are either 475 or less. Come on.
While we've got you, can you speak at all to the sinkholes?
Yes, I can actually. Put me on the spot, that's okay. I got you. I got you. So I was at home, just sitting there relaxing, watching the World Cup and having a great time. And yes, so there was a cave-in. We went on 51st and B. So from what our team has concluded, there's a 6-inch main where at the coupling it kind of broke and leaked and washed out a lot of the dirt underneath there. And so as that Jeep that you saw in the picture on social media and on the news, as he was coming down the street, he thought it was a good idea to go through all that water because he had a Jeep. He thought it was a cool idea, even though it hadn't rained anywhere. So obviously that should have been signed to him. He decided to run through that water, and actually all the water had washed out a bunch of the dirt underneath the road. So he hit that, broke through the concrete, and it actually hit another main, a bigger main, which created an even bigger issue. So, but we got out there, immediately responded, got the boil water notice just for that neighborhood sent out immediately, and we got that fixed and repaired within about 3 hours. So I was actually really proud of our team for the response time on that. And so they are going to finish pouring the concrete tomorrow and Wednesday, and so that road should be open either Wednesday evening or Thursday morning.
Good job.
Was the driver hurt?
From what we know, that he had no serious injuries, so we were told he was okay.
Seatbelt.
But yeah, so from everything that we've heard back, we don't know. Of course, we don't know him personally, but from everything we've heard, he's okay. Any more questions? Great.
Thank you. All right, lastly, we are going to go over the results of the survey that went out a few months ago. Congratulations if you took it and made it all the way through. Do we have anyone? Raise your hands if you took it. There you go. All right. All right. So there was actually a lot in there. Hold that. Bring my slides up.
Now's my time to shine.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, we talked about it really quick. Make sure you join our Facebook page. We post a lot of events that we're having, events in the community. Instagram, same thing. We're posting city events. You can find out about Neighbors Night Out. You can find out about membership meetings. So TSNA Savannah is our Instagram, and our Facebook is similar. Perfect.
All right, thank you. Okay, so this isn't too boring. I've got a lot to say here, but at any time, please shoot a hand up. I'd rather this be more of a conversation because this is about what the community thinks it needs and the problems are. So we can have as much of a discussion as you want. But I am going to spew out a bunch of facts from the survey. But like I said, if I don't see you, pop your hand up and wave it around. So first of all, what the survey was, it was intended to identify current neighborhood priorities and concerns, to help guide the Thomas Square Neighborhood Association's 2026 and 2027 advocacy, programming, and engagement, and to provide a baseline for future surveys, whether we do them once every 2 years or as needed or whatnot. We promise you we will not hit you with long surveys too often. The survey is not, quote unquote, the mind of the neighborhood. Let's just keep that in mind. That it is a snapshot of what the 100 people who did take the time to fill it out thought. But let's not think it's something carved in stone that everyone believes. But it is, like I said, a good indicator. 143 people started the survey, about 100 answered all the questions. Homeowners were heavily represented, very few renters. We always have a problem reaching out to renters. And also some people that own business and property in the neighborhood too. Response totals vary because some questions were skipped and there were some branches in the questioning as well. So what the survey asked about primarily, and you'll notice if you took it, is priorities in the neighborhood, what typically we call a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. There were quite a few questions about good neighbor agreements, thoughts on the Thomas Square Neighborhood Association itself, questions delving into infrastructure improvements, especially those for pedestrians and the streetscape, and questions about how to handle development and tourism pressures in the Starling Thomas Square neighborhood. So what the survey did not ask about, and that we may need to find more out about in the future, and I'd love to hear your feedback about, was the future of hotel development, post-hotel development, overlay expansion. One reason we didn't hit hotels again was because we just gone through all that and passed the prohibition, but we probably do need to now talk about now what happens when someone comes to us with a hotel, and the board is working on that. More generally, what kinds of development residents might like to see or not see. Because in the survey, it kind of lumped together development and tourism as one thing, rather than trying to parse out different kinds of development. Particularly between daytime and nighttime uses, between neighborhood-focused things, or things that might be focused on visitors and tourists to the neighborhood. Another thing that was absent from it was any specific questions about short-term rentals, Airbnb, or VRBOs. And I will note that this is not a kind of development, but often is a conversion of one use to another because you're taking residential or sometimes commercial and turning it into a lodging use. A big one that a lot of people commented on in the write-in section was homelessness and the unhoused population. That came through loud and clear in the written responses. The people are very concerned about it, and we hear it, and we're going to be talking to Dietrich and City Council and the mayor and the city manager about it. So we hear you on that. Where there was strong agreement, those strong and broad signals that came through on the survey. Number one, Thomas Square has great walkability, but let's make it even better. People want to see more crosswalks, better sidewalks repaired, more lighting, and especially to repair sidewalks that cross the railroad tracks where they've really crumbled and come apart. Number two, traffic calming and parking management. That came through a lot, especially on some of our bigger streets on Drake and Whitaker. And one of my pet projects I keep pushing is to try to maybe take those down to one lane and add parking there. That would kill two birds with one stone. That came through. Number three, even if people don't agree on what Thomas Square is and what we want to see in the future, they want to be wary of overdevelopment and losing the character we have. Because another thing that came through is everyone likes Thomas Square. They like living here, and they don't want to lose what we've got. Number four, again, touching on the unhoused population, it's a big concern in Thomas Square. And there was one comment in particular, I'm glad I went in and read it all, because this one really struck me. Someone wrote in, somehow curbing the open sexual harassment and intimidation of women walking on Bull Street in the Starland area. That just really stuck with me, that comment. And even though it doesn't directly mention the homeless, and it's probably not all of them, but I know that's part of it. I've seen from anecdotal stories and with my own eyes walking up and down Bull Street. So again, this is something we'll see what we can do about. Where there was division or mixed signals, and this is where it gets really interesting. Development and commercial activity. Here's a couple of written in comments that were right next to each other and made me laugh. So the first comment was, I'd love seeing more restaurants and bars and businesses opening here. I'd love to see more traffic to them, extended hours, more late night hours to fit non-standard schedule, etc. The next comment, I am not a fan of new business development. So, I mean, that you can't get a more stark contrast right there, that we have people in the neighborhood that are on both sides of that spectrum. And so that's what I want to put across here, is that on this issue, there is a spectrum of opinion. But people don't want to see the neighborhood change too much. I think everyone agrees on that. But the question is where to draw the line, where to push back, where to just flat out refuse. Residents do not want Thomas Square, Star Lane making the same mistakes as downtown. That came through the comments. That there's broad concern about incompatible development, but people might not agree on what incompatible might mean to them. Another area, it was the good neighbor agreements. There was, I would say, broad but shallow support for the idea of good neighbor agreements. Like, yeah, that'd be great if we have a piece of paper. Yes?
Just define what good neighbor agreements are.
Okay, well, that's also difficult, but okay. Who, raise your hand if you think you know what a good neighbor agreement is.
Perfect.
Okay, because that came through the survey. A lot of people are like, I don't really know what it is. So a good neighbor agreement is something the city has kind of been increasingly trying to push to make with a new business or development about basically making them to promise to do certain things, whether it be pick up the trash, or keep certain hours, or what else would you say? Parking.
Security. Even use.
Yeah, even in my mind, these are things that should already be covered by code or the city and whatnot. So why are we doing this? And if it's just a piece of paper with a signature on it, it doesn't really have any teeth. I mean, we can shame them perhaps, or not help them the next time they come to us with a project. I'm not sure how much, and this also came through in the survey. Let me just continue this a little bit. That there was broad but shallow support for the idea of good neighbor agreements in theory, but there was very sharp and pointed criticism about the value and function of these in practice. Choice quotes, "I'm getting HOA vibes." And another one said, "It's a paper tiger. There's no way to enforce it until the developer brings their next project." So G&A opinions, I think, are very much linked to people's anxiety about new and appropriate development, because they see this as, oh, if this could be a tool to help us control that, maybe it's a good idea. But then it is just a paper tiger, so we're just wasting our time putting them out there. So I think this is something we need to talk more about. Is this a useful tool? Is it not? Or do we need to use the harder, more traditional tools of zoning and development standards? So, but again, we'll have to look at, can they be a tool to control development and commercial activity and/or to mitigate impacts? So the next area was public safety and crime, and this was just kind of a interesting division of perception, I'd say, because there were two questions I pulled out here to tell you about. Question 29 was, when you think about Thomas Square in 2026, which three issues matter most to you? By far the number one issue that 73% of people picked in their top three was public safety and crime prevention. But then later on, question 32 said, how safe do you feel in the neighborhood today? And 68% of people said very or mostly safe, 18% neutral, 13% somewhat unsafe, and only 1% said very unsafe. So, like I said, there's an interesting split there. I mean, I think you can always have more safety and less crime. So maybe that's why it's the top. But I get the feeling that most people generally feel safe. I don't know, does anyone want to contradict that or have a comment? No? Yes, go ahead.
Since I've lived here 10 years, I've been broken into twice. I have had things stolen off of my porch as of 2 weeks ago, literally having to go through a gate that the police officer couldn't open. I've had destruction in the back while I was been building, so crime is heavily there.
And you're a block from Bull Street, right?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
between Bull and Drayton. I have seen 2 hit and runs, both of them been caught, our ring cameras caught them. Next to me, his porch was vandalized and stolen across the street. They were. Next door has been broken into twice. The next house has been broken into twice. Across the street from there, they've been broken into twice.
What street are you on?
39th Street.
Okay.
So when a person came at 1:30 in the morning, my ring came out. Police were thankfully there. They caught them. They stole stuff off of my porch, which I could care less about the things, but to go into my private area that I have paid many thousands of dollars to fence in. They go through there, they go up my steps, and on my porch is the invasion of my privacy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to court on 30th.
All right, well, this is an issue for us to deal with. And I think we do have some hot spots. I think, unfortunately, closer you are to Bull Street, that tends to be kind of a,
And we only have, 14 houses on this little, between Bull, and that's what, and if you wanna go further down, there's also been crime there, shootings, and so, I tracked it last year, it was pathetic. And the police come, they were very good, they brought them in, 3 officers came back, he was in the back seat, he had my possessions and everything, but he was released on bail. I asked to be notified. He was released on bail in 2 days. How did he come up with that money if he's stealing stuff to sleep on?
right. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, and that's something, again, the board will work on. We'll have to put some pressure on Diedrich and the city manager and the city council.
Get nothing.
Yeah. Well, we'll figure out some levers.
I hope we do pay some emphasis on this in this association. It's been this way since I've been,
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it takes. I asked the police officer what's it gonna take. And I won't say what I have in my house, but that's what it's gonna take next time.
I got you. Okay. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. All right. Moving on. Another area was communication with Thomas Square itself, the neighborhood association, and amongst the association. Question 6 was, where does Thomas Square Neighborhood Association need to improve organizationally? And the top answer was member engagement. Not as much at the top as the other one, as 42% shows that in the top 3. But then later on in question 7, the question was, what opportunities should Thomas Square take advantage of in coming years. The bottom answer was improving communication tools and digital platforms. So again, a mismatch between answers on stuff that I didn't really understand. But I mean, honestly, I think it frustrates us on the board that are volunteers. We do a lot, we put a lot of information out there, but we need people to also engage with us. We've got the Instagram. Even though it's not official, we pretty much use the chat page on Facebook as kind of our open forum. If you've got something that's bothering you that see is not being addressed, post. I know Wendy posts. So if you've got issues, go post there, start a conversation. And I want to make sure everyone knows that you don't have to go to the neighborhood association to make your issue an issue. Everyone has the right to go engage in the public process, go to city council meetings, go to NPC, etc. So don't feel like we have to filter your voice through. If you have something that's on your mind, go and participate. If you need to know how to do that, talk to me. I can tell you.
We also, really quick,
yeah.
you can email us, contact@tsnasavannah.org. It's all over the website. So we will get that, we will answer it very quickly. So if there's ever anything you need answered, there are multiple ways, usually through the website, to contact us, and someone will get back to you pretty quickly.
And if you think we're doing a rotten job, come join the board. One thing I tried to tease out, because like I said, there were not really any direct questions specifically about tourism, short-term rentals, etc., but there were a few questions that kind of skirted around the edge of it. So this is where I used ChatGPT to help me a little bit and said, okay, reading between the lines, what can you draw out about this? But there were some, I'm going to go through some of the answers to the questions that skirt around this issue and then tell you what ChatGPT told me about it. So question 37 was, where do you imagine Thomas Square 10 years from now? Which best reflects your ideal future? 70% of people chose balanced residential and small-scale commercial. 17% chose a more active mixed-use district. 9% chose primarily residential. So again, I'm going to say 70% of people chose balanced residential and small-scale commercial, which I feel like what we have. And again, I think people like what they have, and they want to make sure that we kind of keep it balanced and don't get tilted one way or the other. Question 39 was, which statement best reflects your view on residency? 57% of people said they want to encourage more full-time residents. 23% said they want to maintain a mix of residents and visitors. And I have a little problem with that because those two aren't really mutually exclusive. But then only 14% of people said that residency mix is not a concern. So again, people want more neighbors. The question didn't go quite far enough in saying, well, do you want to build more housing? I think you might know I'm a big Gibby guy, I'm all for housing. But anyways, I thought the main part of that question was that 57% of people want to encourage more full-time residents. Then question 40 was tourism and development, again lumped together. Tourism and development will likely continue to increase. Which approach best reflects your view? 63% of people chose managing tourism and development carefully while protecting residential areas. 23% of people chose actively seek to limit tourism and development impacts. 16% said accept growth of tourism and development and adapt infrastructure. So again, 63% of people kind of feeling like what we've got is good, let's try to keep that balance. And here's where I brought ChatGPT in. This is going to be a little long, but let me just read through it. I asked it again, read between the lines, what do you think these variety of questions and the writing answers say about what the neighborhood thinks about these issues? ChatGPT said, my read is that respondents are not asking to purge every short-term rental, but they are uneasy that the neighborhood's balance could tip, or may already be tipping, from a lived-in neighborhood towards a visitor economy. The clear summary is, residents first, visitors welcome, but the residential population must remain dominant. That is an inference because the survey never directly asked, are there too many STVRs now? But several indirect findings point in the same direction. Most respondents either want the balance shifted towards full-time residency or at least consciously maintained. Again, this is ChatGPT calling itself I, but I think many residents would probably say something like, some short-term rentals are part of the neighborhood now, and visitors are not inherently a problem. But we do not want so many transient units that we lose neighbors, housing, or the ordinary services and relationships that makes this an actual neighborhood. One respondent articulated that almost exactly, so this was a real comment from someone responding. A walkable neighborhood friendly to tourists, yet primarily occupied and patronized by local long-term residents. The landmark district downtown was lost to STVRs years ago and has only a fraction of the long-term residents it once did.
Do you have a, if I can interrupt?
Go ahead.
Do you have a set amount of a percentage amount of STVRs that are allowed?
That's not how we do it in Thomas Square. In Thomas Square, you basically have to have skin in the game if you're in a residential area. You have to live in it, like I do. So I run my house out of a small inn where I live. But if you have commercial zoning, then you can do basically a turnkey operation where you don't have to have a host around, and it can be, all Airbnb units. So that's one of the things you have to think about anytime you have a rezoning that bumps something up to where the non-owner occupied short-term rental is allowed. That whole building can turn into, an STDR house.
I would like to suggest, maybe working with MPC staff, that you get a picture of what you've got regarding zoning. In other words, say to yourself, what would it look like if everything were built to the allowable? And you could do it color-coded, you could do a lot of stuff online. I have no idea how to do it, but immediately you can see what you've got. And if you like how far it'll go, then that's good. If you say, we got a little too much of this, not enough of that. But I think it's a little dangerous or not as helpful to just do point by point. I think you gotta have a big picture of what is allowable.
Right.
And then,
And there actually are a lot of AI tools that are being developed
Yes.
specifically for planning and urban design to do kind of map this out. So that might be something to look at, to at least
I'd
plug
be
in our
glad
data.
to work on that
Yeah,
with you.
okay, good suggestion, thank you.
I have a quick question too for everyone here. Does everyone know that rule?
Is everyone aware of the rule of the difference between downtown STDRs and what a vacation rental here? Like, you guys know that people have to live at the residence versus downtown, which is you don't have to. Does it, just like to get a vibe of the room, did you guys know that before this moment? Most of you, did most of you do that? Okay.
But
You
you
didn't
said
know
not
that?
everybody, I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm asking. So in this neighborhood, you have to live in the house, otherwise it has to be zoned. Downtown, you don't have to live. Yeah. But I'm just asking, are people aware of what the difference in the rule is for here or for there? So no, it's kind of 50-50, it seems like. No, I see some no's, I see. Feels like evenly divided.
Well, I was gonna say that if you were here 10 years ago, you probably remember we went through the whole thing of the short-term rental ordinance being extended through our neighborhood, and we did, again, extensive surveys, et cetera. And it might be time to pick those back up and repeat it and see how minds have changed, if people think it's worked. I kind of think we hit the right balance. But again, anytime we see an upzoning, we have to kind of worry about that use being hidden in that basket. I don't really like it being there. And so we may see if we can do something about that. But, okay, second to last page. So I also asked ChatGPT, looking at the whole survey, despite some things being divided, what are some quote-unquote safe conclusions we can draw from the survey? And he gave me a list. I'm just going to read them all out. The one-sentence story. Respondents want a safe, walkable, attractive, historic neighborhood that remains primarily a place for full-time residents while accommodating small business and carefully managed change. Next statement. The clearest mandate in this survey is to work on the basics: public safety, pedestrian safety, sidewalks and crosswalks, cleanliness, and protection of neighborhood character. Next statement. Respondents were generally open to G&As as a tool for setting expectations when TSNA is asked to support a project, but many lacked prior familiarity and raised serious questions about enforceability, transferability, capacity, and process. Next statement. Respondents favored managed growth that protects residential livability and historic character. The survey did not support either unrestricted growth or a blanket ban on tourism and development. Respondents favored context-appropriate development and preservation of historic scale. The survey includes both development skeptical and anti-overregulation voices, and neither should be erased. Next statement. The Thomas Square Neighborhood Association has a positive base of support, but awareness and trust are uneven beyond active members. Communication and outreach, especially to renters and newer or less engaged neighbors, remain opportunities. And the most interesting cross-tab takeaway, meaning the AI followed people through all the questions to see what was consistent and what wasn't, that there's not a simple ideological split. People can simultaneously support full-time residency, small business, mixed-use activity, preservation, and managed growth. The data does not divide cleanly into pro-development and anti-development camps. In a way, I think that describes Thomas Square and Starland. I think one reason we're great is it's kind of a jumbled mix of everything. And we just got to try to see if we can keep the right balance and not tip over too far from one side to the other. And I had made a word cloud, but since I didn't hear, show you my word cloud real quick. This is, the last question was asking people what they basically like about Thomas Square and what they'd like to see it be in 5 to 10 years. And what I found really uplifting was the words they want to see in the future or the words that also describe it now. So it means you're doing a pretty good job. Again, one of the themes that came through between the lines is people like Thomas Square, they like what we've done right, let's keep trying to do it and not get tipped over too far in any one direction. That is it. Anybody have any questions?
No, good work though.
All right.
Thank you.
And we will put this out, and if anyone that would actually like to delve through the entire survey, you're welcome to it. You can feed it into AI yourself and see what it comes up with. It's kind of fun. But we'll put that out on the website or something. Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
who
thank
took
you.
the survey. It was wonderful.
Class adjourned.
Yeah, class adjourned.
Thank you guys, thank you so much for coming. See you later, have a good night.
Yes. Sure. It's changing every day, but like I follow some people on Substack. Who are like,
No, I was emailing myself on mine.
so I think it is something that you
text myself when I'm
Oh, yeah,
So in there, you do exactly what you're talking about, showing potential futures and build out.
Let me talk about something else.
So our house is at 1/7 right at the corner. And some of the reasons I was asking about the these things is like we're from Ohio. And so we have storm sewers everywhere. We have gutters and we're in storm sewers and you guys, at least around us anywhere, we have that. So
We do have the storm system, right? It's essentially how it works. Everything just flows into the street.
It's good to have you here. You always get comments.
Yeah, once it gets in there, it moves by gravity.
So our issue is, we just redid like a cycle.
So,
Just redid the whole
Let me turn this off real quick.
the big pink elephant in the middle of the room
Okay.
We have discovered
is scat.